today what I wanted to do is I kind of wanted to talk about beginner journal makers and trying to do stuff with them. There sure seems to be a ton of brand new people to junk journaling, and I think that's fantastic. And I know a lot of people seem intimidated by the process sometimes, and I do know that a lot of people want to make journals for like Christmas and stuff like that. I really don't want to start Christmas yet. I am actually doing Christmas things on my own, but I don't necessarily want to start doing Christmas on my channel probably till the end of September. And then I thought we could all start together, you know, and do October, November Christmas stuff together. So what I thought I would do is I wanted to talk about making a journal, and I will do this, move my stuff over here real quick. One that is really not going to be hard to make. I use these things all the time. These are the packaging that you get from Amazon. They weren't using them that much before, but I think they're using them quite a bit now. You definitely don't have to use this. You could just use like a file folder or just any kind of paper or whatever. But we're going to make a journal with this, but we're going to add fabric to it. And let me show you. We're going to do a fall journal, and here's some fabric that I have. I bought this at Hobby Lobby. I thought it was really cute, and I thought we could make a nice little journal out of that and this. Okay, so it's a two for thing. I've done it where I made it look like leather, and I've done one signature journals before, beginner journals, and I will link that first episode on the one signature journal that I did. But I want to make this a two signature journal, and I think that it would be it's not going to be a big journal. I'm probably only going to have a total of 80 pages in it. 10 actual full pages in each signature. But I really think it's important that people graduate from the one signature to the two signature, just because I see people, beginners, stuffing too much into one signature. So I mean, we could probably put all these pages in one signature, but I really, the reason I want to do this is I want to make sure that people understand the process of putting in multiple signatures. So this is like a beginner 1.5. It's 1.5. It's on the 1.5 scale. It's not a 2.0 yet. That's not the 3 signature, but this is the 2 signature. So we'll graduate. And anyway, so I thought I would use that fabric. You could use any fabric. I like a lightweight cotton fabric on these. Sometimes I'll use like an upholstery weight on one part of it, and then I'll use maybe a cotton on the other part, because we're going to be covering it. And also I want to kind of show you what I am going to use for my kit. We are going to use a digital kit. You do not have to, for sure. This is Artie Mae's Andrea. So this is her Autumn Blessings, I believe it is. And I have the add-on kit, and I also have, what is the other one called? Oh gosh, I don't know what it's called. I have to find it. I will put the links if I can find them in there. Yeah, here's that. I don't know what I did with the other one. I'll show you the add-on kit in just a minute. And then I also have, let's see, the Autumn Melody, I think it's called. Yeah, Autumn Melody. So that is her kit that she has, and I really thought get my material out again. I wanted something that kind of went with this pretty well. You know, that had the pumpkins in it, that had the sunflowers. And I had made a journal out of this last year. It was kind of funny because I was looking, oh, maybe I'll try and find something new. And honestly, hers still was the best one that I could find out there that I really loved, that incorporated a lot of different things. And I'm showing you this so you can see the pages. Isn't that gorgeous? So I printed on both sides. I usually do that. Or I put something on the other side. And I don't even know if I printed all the pages. I just know that I did 5 and 5 for each signature. And then I have a couple of, these are the envelopes that came with add-on. Oh, I also have these pages. I forgot I put that and that. And then this is just a vellum page. I usually always put one vellum page in there because I just like how it looks. Anyway, and I have a couple of envelopes, and of course I always print on both sides if I can, just so it looks cooler, I think. So that is what we're going to use for the actual journal itself. And then the add-on kit, if you're interested, for ephemera, we will do some ephemera. Let me show you that real quick. A lot of really nice tags. And the reason I picked this kit too is I think that the kit with the add-on is plenty to do a journal, and they're very inexpensive, and I think it's something that you definitely get your money's worth out of. And it's great for a beginner because it gives you everything you need, a starting point. And even if you're somebody that has been doing this for a while, the way she puts everything all together, you can do a lot of different things with it, and certainly make a very unique journal. Okay, so that's the add-on. Now I will be using a few other things, some Artie Mays stuff. I do have her add-on for her, I think it's called Autumn Melody, or I don't know, Medley, maybe that's it. I don't remember. I have to go back and look. But anyway, I mainly printed it out. I already have this for the words. I don't think that's all of it. I think I'm missing part of it up here, but anyway, and you know, I don't know, I might use a few of those tags, but that's mainly why I printed it out, because I wanted to use some of those, and I knew I had it. But I mean, you can use anything you have. You don't even have to use that. Okay, so I thought that today we could just kind of work a little bit on the cover and cover it with the material and do that. So let's see, this is, I may have to get a different one if it's not tall enough. You want to make sure, if you have one of these, yeah, that it's at least 8.5 inches tall, or 8 inches really would be fine. And the width on this is fine. Sometimes when you tear the top, it just ends up, you know, tearing too far down. And when I did this before, I turned it inside out so that you didn't have to worry about this lettering. Well, we're going to be covering this, so it's not going to really matter. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get my cutter out, and I am going to kind of straighten this out because it's crooked. And let's see here. We want to go, I'm going to go 8.5. I like going 8.5. Sometimes I go 8, sometimes I go 9, but 8.5 is a good in between. So all I'm going to do is just measure 8.5 at the top where it's crooked, and I'm going to cut that. And oh, I don't have it in there straight. There we go. Okay, and I'll go a couple of passes since we're going through, you know, 2 pieces of paper and the middle. And I still didn't do enough. Let's go back again. All right, try that again. There we go. All right. So now that I've done that, this is what we're going to be left with. And I, a lot of times, decide about now whether or not I'm going to want side pockets. Am I going to want this open on the side? Okay. And most of the time I like to do that because I like to add tags and stuff to go in there. So I have to make up my mind. First off, I'm going to fold this to make sure it is straight. You know, I'm just going to fold it in half and crease it. So we work from that premise, okay? So that is our cover. That gives us a total of, let's see, I think it's 12 inches, yeah. So this should end up being 12 inches when you get done. And that gives us, what that will do is that'll give us 5.5 inches and 5.5 inches on each side. So that's 11 inches, and it gives us a 1-inch spine. It gives us a 1/2 inch for each signature. And if you're having just a 10-page journal, that's usually enough, okay? Now, if it's a super bulk, we have a lot of bulky things in it, then you could go 1 inch for each signature. But that's why I love using these, is because it's so easy to get them to the exact size. And I love the crunchy sound they make, and they're kind of padded, and you're recycling and all that kind of good stuff. So you'll see me use this a lot in file folders. Okay, so now I have to decide if I want to go ahead and open up these sides, if I want a pocket in here. And I think this time I'm not going to do that. If you look at my other video that I did with the one signature, I do make a pocket out of here. And basically all you're doing is you're just opening this up, and then, you know, you leave it open and you have a pocket inside. But this time I'm not going to do that. I am just going to cover this all together, and I'm just going to take my material, and as simple as this, I'm just going to decide what I want to go on the cover, where I want it. And let's see, I don't know. I kind of want, I really love these turquoise pumpkins, let me tell you. Okay, I don't know. It's just weird. The way this material is, it's not giving me exactly what I want, where I want it, without it being in the middle. And I don't really want to, I'm going to be putting something in the middle. So I do want some of this other part on the sides. So I don't know. So if I want that in the middle, I'm going to have to decide where I want to cut this and how I'm going to do that. So I think what I'm going to do, let's see, that's the middle of it. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to just kind of do it a little bit bigger than when I need it, like right here. And I'm going to do it right here. I'm just snipping it a little bit. I'm going up here and I'm just going a little bit, just a little, because I'm going to tear it, because chances are it will be much, much it'll be much better if I do that. Now the bad part about this, guys, is, see, look, this doesn't give us enough to cover a whole thing unless we piece it, which of course we could piece it, but that's the bad part about getting it exactly where you want it. So, all right, so where's the other piece? Okay, right here. So I'm just going to rip that. Okay, so now that I've done that, I am going to see where this falls, and it is going to be, you know, a little bigger than what I wanted it, and that I always do make it a little bigger so I can trim off the edges. So this way I can kind of position it the way I want it. And I think I want to kind of go where I want the sunflower to show, and I want that. And I'm going to put a thing right there. Wonder if I can move this over a tiny bit. Yeah, I think that would be good. Here's the bottom. And there's the top. Let's go down a tiny bit. So that's kind of where I think it's going to end up. The end is right there. I'm going to have a tie going across here, so that's okay. Because here's that. Okay, I think that's perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and figure out where I'm going to cut this. And again, I'm doing a little bit big here and a little bit up here. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and tear it out. And usually tearing gets it a lot straighter than trying to cut it. You can cut it if you want, but I like to tear it. And I will probably cut it after I put it on there too. So what happened to the other piece that I trimmed? Well, I know exactly where that's at. Okay, I don't know where it is now. Yeah, it's up here. Okay, so this gets us a lot closer to the size that we really need. Okay, and we're going to move that over just a tiny bit, right? Oh gosh, I'm going to have to go like that, I think, because of where I want it. And I'm going to figure out exactly where I want it. Tiny bit more this way. So that will go like that. That will be like that. Okay. And that's pretty much how it's going to be. I'm going to push it down just a tiny bit. Okay. So there we go. I think that'll be it. That's going to go there. I might go over this way a tiny bit. That's why you make it a little bit bigger so that you have some wiggle room. Yeah, I think we're right at the edge right there. So that's where it's going to go. And what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and I am going to use, right now I'm going to use some of my 3-in-1. And the reason I'm doing that is because I am doing this while y'all are watching. Otherwise I probably would use my tacky glue just because it's cheaper and it works fine, and I usually let it dry overnight, but because I have people that are going to want to see the finished product, I want to go ahead and do this. And I'm basically going to put it all around the edges. I'm trying not to move this too much because I want it where I want it. I'm only going to do half of it. I'm going to put it all around the edges, and I am going to sew this, so I'm not worried about it being super glued down, but I want it to be glued down in the middle enough to where it's not moving. So I'm going to do that. And I do want a lot more in the middle so it's not moving. And I'm only doing half at a time, that way the glue doesn't dry before I get it down. I think my glue is getting a little thick, so I may have to stop and get another one. And anyway, I'm going to open this up a little bit, I think. So you want to make sure you get enough glue, get it all the way around. And even though I am going to sew, I do want it to be glued down, especially in the middle, because I don't want it buckling up. And then I'm going to take that and I'm going to go ahead. I think I just moved it a little bit and made it crooked, so I want to kind of make sure, get that down a little bit. Okay. There's the end. Yeah, I think that's good right there. Okay, so that glue dries fairly quickly, but I do want to make sure, and you don't want to put too much glue because it'll show through on a cotton. I think I have a little mark right there, but that's okay because we're going to have something in the middle. And I don't know how that got to be too much there because I really didn't put that much, but let me see if my other glue will be easier. What happens on your 3-in-1 is it gets to, hopefully you can hear better now. So what'll happen on the 3-in-1 glue, if you leave it out a lot, it'll get all kind of thick. So you can add some acetone to it. Alright, I know I have more. Hold on. Yep, I've got a brand new one right here. So this should be better to use than the other one. I'm on like a automatic refill thing, and you know, I have to do that because I use this so much. Okay, yeah, I think that's good. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the other side of it. Huh. That's the little thing in there. It's not, doesn't seem to be coming out. You know, I think I'm going to move this in here. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the camera, and then I will be right back. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead. It's coming out a lot better. And I'm just going to put some here, and I do like to spread it out a little, and I should have done that before and I wouldn't have any blobs on there. But anyway, if you spread it out, you won't get any. Usually when it dries, it kind of does okay. And then I just take any kind of, I have all these little, these are hairdresser tools, and I like to use these because I used to use little brushes and stuff, but it really does ruin them. So I've bought this. I think it was 3 or 4 of these for like $5, and I use these all the time. So that way it doesn't have any blobs. So I probably should have done that on the other side, and we wouldn't have any, but that's okay. It'll be all right. Then when it dries, you won't even see it. Okay, so that's one side. All right. And now what I usually do is I go ahead and I just cut around it. I use this as a template to kind of just cut right at the edge. And I just take my scissors and go all the way around. Okay. And it doesn't really matter if it's going to be perfect because I'm going to put trim on this. You know, if you're not, you might want to go back and make it absolutely the way you want it, but I am going to be putting trim on this, so I think I'll use my material scissors because they work better. And anyway, so I just use this as kind of a template to go around it. Okay. All right. And then all right, so now that we've done that, we just need to do the inside. And what I do on this is I just kind of either pull off these little pieces that are loose, because you don't need those, okay? And if you want to, you can cover this part. If your material is really thin, it's going to show through. I don't think this will. I'm going to check and see. And you can just tell by looking at it. I mean, putting it on there. Go ahead and do that. I usually do my preliminary cut, and then I go back in and trim it up a little. And I do try and make it reasonably straight, but like I said, I usually put trim on the edges, so in the end you will never ever see trim or lace or, you know, something to where if it's not perfect, you won't see it. And that's part of the reason I do it, you know. Okay, so that is what the outside looks like now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take my yellow material, and I'm going to put that on the inside. And it's cotton, but I don't think you can see through this too well. Let's see here. You can a little. So I don't know. Maybe I'll peel that off. I mean, I don't know. I think if you really look, I don't know that people would notice. I'm going to go ahead and try and peel this off. you know, and then all you're going to see is the brown underneath. So just peel the stickers off. You know, and if this was the front that you use, then you would do it on the front. So anyways, guys, the chat part of this is I have been super busy this summer. I haven't done that many videos. I've taken a week off here and there. You know, we went on vacation, but we've been doing a major project in our house. We put in a swimming pool. We didn't. We had a pool put in, but it was an absolute nightmare because it took, gosh, 5 months. It was supposed to take like, you know, 5 to 6 weeks, they said. And it was just, it was just one thing after another. The yard was a mess. We had mud everywhere. And oh God, by the end of it, I was so happy it was over with. Okay, so I need to decide. I think I'm going to put it crossways this way, so I will use less material. Now, see, that's better because you can't really see behind it. It's just the brown. So I'm going to go ahead, and this is going to be really easy because I am just going to cut it. Let's see, about right here. Let's tear it, okay? And then we're going to glue it down and then trim it. And the reason you want to trim them separately, you want to be able to see. Oh, there's one little piece left. It's going to drive me nuts. Okay, there we go. So, if you were putting something on here and you could see through it really bad, what you could do is you could gesso this, and that would, you know, very much mute it down, you know, just with one coat. But I mean, you could put multiple coats on there and that would work. So it's up to you if you want to do that. I think after that I peeled that off, I think it'll be good enough. So I think what I'm going to do this time, since my glue's coming out good, I'm going to go ahead and do the whole thing. Because I think I don't have to worry about lining it up so much because it's just all, you know, one piece. If you're using a fast glue, you want to always make sure that, you know, you have time to get it on there before it dries. When I use my tacky glue, usually I do the whole thing, but a lot of times when I do this, I just do half because I know it's going to take a while for it to, I mean, it's not going to take very long. I said that the actually opposite of what I meant. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and spread that out, and it is already starting to dry, so I need to hurry. But alright, so that way we won't have any blobs. And then I'm going to go ahead and I can't really tell if there's a right or a wrong on this material. It really is giving me a hard time, so I'm just going to assume I can't really tell, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on. I am going to try and kind of make the lines reasonably straight so they're not all wobbly, you know. Okay, there we go. There is a little crooked part right there, and you can see it coming through there, but it'll when it dries you won't be able to see it that much. Okay, so now I'm going to just kind of press down on it and let that sit there for a while. I'm going to go ahead and rip these sides because it's really way longer than we need, so I'm just going to go like that and save these because we'll use them for pockets and all kinds of good stuff. Oh, I just moved that. Probably should wait for this to dry a little bit more before I fiddle with it, but I am trying to, you know, even though it's a crafting chat, I am trying to be cognizant of your time. Okay, so there we go. So anyway, we put in our pool, which we'd been living here for, gosh, I don't know, 11, 12 years. We had a pool in our other house. It is so hot here in North Texas in the summer that I hate not having a pool, and we weren't going to do it because, you know, we don't have our kids living at home or anything. We didn't know if we'd use it enough, and then finally we just broke down and did it, and we're really glad we did because it just, oh, it's so enjoyable. Because, you know, you'd go in your backyard and it's like it's too hot to be out there, so Anyway, I've been going in it just about every day. You can kind of tell from my tan, and enjoying it. But in the meantime, you know, when they do that, they tear up your whole yard. So we had like, oh gosh, mud everywhere. And of course I have my 1-year-old golden retriever that is, and her sister comes to visit a lot too, and she's 1. You know, they're both puppies still. And boy, they were just having a blast in the mud all the time, every time. So anyway, you know, we had to put sod in our yard, and then it's, okay, so the pool was actually, should have been done like the end of April, ended up being, you know, right before 4th of July. And from that point on, we had like a heat wave. So we put in brand new sod, and oh my gosh. So we had to water like twice a day to keep it from dying, much less growing. And we also seeded part of the yard. We have a big yard, and oh my gosh, it was an ordeal. So luckily my son was visiting from Colorado, so he actually did a lot of it. I mean, thank God he was visiting, because it would have been a nightmare. Okay, so we have a few spots of glue, but they won't show later. You won't notice it, okay, because we're going to put pockets and other stuff on there. I didn't sew any pockets on here, but you definitely could have done that. But I'm trying to make this really super easy. All right. Now, if you had wanted to add a tie on this on the inside of your material, you could have done that. I am going to be adding one right here, and I'm going to be sewing it right in here, but I'm also going to be covering up the spine. So I am going to put a tie on here, and I'm not positive what I'm going to do yet. I have this ribbon that I bought, and this was on clearance, $1.24 at Hobby Lobby. And it does have wire in it, but you can definitely take the wire out. And I was thinking about maybe using that. You know, and just kind of tying it right here. Let's see, I don't know. Let's just say, you cut it right there. And the way that you take the, you just take the wire, and you don't have to take the wire out, but usually when I use it as a tie, I do. You just basically pull some of the wire and then you yank it out. So I'm still thinking about the fact I didn't have my microphone on. If it sounds kind of bad in the beginning, I may do a voiceover to the beginning. So, but if you can hear it at all, I'll probably just leave it, because I'm trying to make these crafting chats more often. But I don't want to have to do a lot of editing, because then that makes it harder for me to do them more often, because that takes more time. Oh gosh. Well, it usually is really easy, but I think this piece that I have is a little bit bigger than I normally do it. Let me do it on the other side, since I broke that. Normally you just take it and pull it, just keep pulling it down. And you just kind of, you're just going to keep doing that until you get the wire out all the way across. Now this is gathering it now, but yeah, if you wanted to gather it, that would be how you would do it. But I am just trying to get the wire out, so it does not seem to want to cooperate. There we go. It had a little snag at the bottom. And you just keep pulling it till you get it out, and eventually it'll all come out. So anyway, I've been busy with that. I mean, it has been way more, you know, complicated than what I thought it was going to be. Trying to clean up the yard, and, you know, it seems like all I've been doing is dealing with dust and mud and all kinds of stuff all summer. And we did go to Florida for 1 week, right before 4th of July. And then we had family over for a week. And then we also, I just had my little Bonko group come last week. And I don't know if any of you ladies know what that's like. You're going to, you know, getting your house ready, getting your food, all that kind of stuff. And so that was busy. I had my son from Colorado visit. So it has been a very busy summer, even though we didn't really go, you know, other than that 1 week, we didn't really do all that much. Okay, so that's the one side there. And I'll go ahead and pull out the other side, and I'll stop and come right back because I don't want to waste your time. Where did, oh, maybe I got it all out. I might have. Well, looks like I did. Okay. All right, so now all you would do is, I know this is longer than it needs to be, like way longer than it needs to be, but for instance, then you would just take your tie, right? And I'm going to put this on here, and I'm going to sew this like right here, okay? And the reason I'm doing that is I want to make sure that it's on there good and it's going to hold this tight. And I probably am going to go ahead and sew it. When I'm going to sew all the way around the edges, okay? Just completely around. And when I do that, I'm going to go ahead and sew this down too, so that when this closes, okay, we will have a little pocket here, but it'll also be on there nice and secure. And that's kind of how, that's why I said it didn't really matter that this little thing was in the middle here, because we were going to end up doing that anyway. So I usually make mine a little bit longer than they need to be, because I'd rather have that and then cut it off later. So, and the way that this is gonna tie when it's done, it'll tie off to the side like this. Okay, so this will, and that's why you kind of want the wire out of it, because it's easier to tie. But I mean, you could leave it in there if you wanted to, it would still tie. So it is a little bit bulky, so I'm going to go ahead and deal with that right now. But that will end up on this side like that, okay? Somewhat, okay? And then that'll be your journal, and I like to tuck stuff in here. I might put a few little journaling cards or whatever in there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and sew around this, and I'm going to attach my tie to it and show you what it looks like. And then that's all I'm going to do for today. And I did show you what we're going to work on. So next time what we'll do is we will go ahead and get our pages ready and hopefully sew them in the signature. And then the last time will be actually decorating and finishing it, because I don't really like to do more than 3 of these videos, and I'm not going to do these in a row. I'm probably going to do these maybe once or twice a week on the continuation for this, because I have other videos that I do. I'm going to still do my Tim Holtz Tuesday, and I kind of want to do a something on Thursday. So I may do part 2 on Thursday, and then I have like a scrappy, I want to do like a scrappy on a Saturday, or stash buster or something like that on a Saturday or Sunday, because I definitely am trying to get my stash whittled down. So anyway, that is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to go ahead and stop the camera, and I'll be right back with the finished product, okay? Okay, so I went ahead and I sewed my tie on, and I basically sewed all the way around. All I did is just a very basic zigzag stitch around the edges. I mean, honestly, this is not going to fray after you sew around it. So if you wanted it to just leave it like that, you could, and I may do that. I don't know. I haven't really decided yet, but I did want to make sure that I sewed all the way around. You do not have to sew all of this. You definitely could just glue this down, put more glue. You could definitely glue this down and not sew. I hear all these people talking about how they don't have a sewing machine. I just wanted to say that I used this machine that I just bought on Amazon, and I actually got this to go in my trailer to replace a purple one that I had that was very old that I bought off of Marketplace. And I actually got this one cheaper than the used one that I had bought. And I will put the link in the description box for you guys if you're interested. It was less than $50. And I actually keep this on my desk. And I have gotten to where I barely use I have 2 other machines. And because this is so handy and so lightweight, I use my other machines if I have to do something really heavy duty, but for the most part I've gotten to where I don't even use them hardly anymore. And that machine was very inexpensive. So if you do want to do the sewing, and you know, also too, you don't feel about messing it up. Too bad about messing up for any reason, although I haven't ever with paper. I mean, anyway, so that is our cover that we made. And we will get to doing our journal. You know, I would say maybe I'll have another video out on Thursday. So Autumn Blessings by Artie Mays. I'll try and link everything in the description box for you. So if you're interested in doing this along with me, that you can go ahead and get all that and, you know, just craft along with me. I bought the fabric, in case you didn't watch, at a Hobby Lobby haul. It was in their clearance section, so it was very, very inexpensive. I would say you could get a 1/4 of a yard and have enough for 2 journals, and is like $2 for this. And I bought a 1/2 yard, so yeah, you know, very inexpensively. And like I said, this was in the clearance. And I know other places have all this kind of stuff now that they're clearancing. But anyway, so that is our cover. And we will go ahead and, like I said, work on the pages. And we may even sew in the signatures next time. And then the 3rd one, decorate. Okay? So anyway, I just wanted to do the craft and chat. Let you know how I'm doing. Let you know I'm going to be trying to do more frequent videos. But, you know, things happen. I'm going out of town next weekend, maybe. Not positive yet. But if I do, you know, there may be another gap. I don't know. I may try and do videos ahead of time. Just depends on time, guys. So I hope all of you are doing well, having some time for crafting. And then I will talk to you and see you again soon. Bye.